All right, so yeah, it's my oldest's 10th birthday party today, so he's got all his friends up from school, and there's like 6 of them crashing around in there, so we're just gonna go get some pizzas, and we'll avoid some of that. The on-writing feels good, but it's tough to organize the thoughts, I guess. It's almost like I wander with it. It's like I'm experimenting, I'm exploring, which kind of is a perfect segue into, I believe, something George Martin spoke about, which was like gardening is what he calls it. It's where maybe you have an idea for a book you don't quite know, but you're not going to put down the names and the characters and the times and the places, and you're just going to start writing. I personally believe that's the best way to do it, which is why it's been so hard for me lately, because I wouldn't say I'm storyboarding, but I've been writing down like just pages and pages and pages. I'm filling up some books now. It was a good feeling. I just filled up a book, and I used up an entire pen. I never write by pen, right? So it was interesting. It was a different experience, I guess, if you were to write by a typewriter or a laptop or by pen. So doing it long form there was an experience, and it's been tough because it's like even when you're not writing, you can be writing. You know what I mean? You don't actually have to be writing. You can be thinking about it. You can be doing this storyboarding stuff. I don't know if I'm storyboarding. It's more just backstory, but it feels good, but it's tough. And it's tough in the sense that I'm writing down these concrete details, essentially, of this character set this up, and this is why these events are going on. I'm big on that. I'm assuming some writers aren't. They can't be, because some stories that go on, you just like, they make no sense, right? They suck. To be blunt, a lot of the stuff you see on the store shelves right now, a lot of the movies, a lot of TV shows, a lot of it sucks. It's subjective, but a lot of it's garbage, which should give everybody hope, because most of it sucks. So if you're just a little bit better than that, my point to that is, even if you as the reader never care as to why certain characters have motivations or why certain scenes happened, maybe you never care about the history and you're just taking it face value, I at least want to have in my back pocket, for me, there's a reason why this was said, there's a reason why this was done, there's a reason why these things happened, beyond just furthering the plot. It's really easy to just make some things happen to get where we need to go, right? It's very simple. I don't know if we have an example for that. Maybe you could look at like killing the parents is always a really easy one. Everybody does that. Like Harry Potter, Star Wars, very classic. Like there's very tropes that I love Star Wars. Star Wars is great. And I think George Lucas may actually be I think it was Brandon Sanderson that said this. He was talking about how that might be one of the best ever stories written in terms of just the hero's journey. That's like the archetype. That's it. It's beautiful. Sometimes George Lucas might invest in those tropes a little too hard, but they're there and they do work. My point is, we've got Luke, we've got him on Tatooine, he's got his family, he's not happy, oh my god, there's Obi-Wan Kenobi, he's reluctant, the reluctant hero. We got to get those people dead, because that helps further the plot. And as for a story moving forward, I think, again, we'll use this, A New Hope is a different story if Uncle Owen and Aunt Beru are alive, right? You saw this issue in, and I don't want this this series to be like a critique. I'm not criticizing anyone's work, because it's out there, you can see it. Who am I? These are just examples and flaws that I think that are there that could have been avoided. Stranger Things had this issue recently, among a million other plot holes, where it's Maxine, right? So Maxine gets Vecna'd and he breaks her bones, and among the other plot holes, it's like, where did her parents go? Right? Where did her parents go? I think they may have just been like, after her stepbrother died, they all kind of moved. But it's like, where are her parents? She's comatose. We don't ever give that any substance. We don't ever revisit it. And it's a problem when you've got those loose plot holes, because in the grand scheme of things, do they, whether Maxine's parents exist, does it really matter? in the grand scheme of we need to go stop Vecna from destroying the world with the upside down abyss. No, but it's really lazy writing. It's very lazy, especially with how bloated that got. This is like epic fantasy. It got enormous, and they have hours and hours and hours, way more, and the budget's huge than anybody else to do that, to just explain it, and they don't, and you notice it. It comes up now. Whereas we'll look at Star Wars, and I know it's completely different, but it's still the same thing of Luke Skywalker has his parents, they're adopted, like it's his adopted parents, his aunt and uncle. We need to get rid of them. Oh, look at this, stormtroopers showed up because they were looking for you, and then it gives you a little hook. It's the incentive, and he's motivated, and he's like, oh my god, like the Empire killed everyone, they were looking for me, like, and then boom, furthers or not necessarily him, but you know what I mean, it furthers the plot, and it ties it up. It's really easy to do. Same thing you know, with Harry Potter and things like that. So we'll transition here because I kind of forgot what I was doing there with plot. Oh man, I need to have a storyboard for this. So with all that in mind, even if you never explain it, it's good to have something in the back pocket. That you have a reason as to why something happened. You want to be able to cover your ass as best as you can, is kind of what I'm saying. And maybe that's what a lot of this is about, because I find I poke a lot of holes. And I'm not a smart guy. I'm not some analytical critic that's sitting down that has this refined, educated look on movies and screenplays and scripts and stuff. These are very obvious glaring plot holes that come up, and it's really lazy. And as a writer, this is one thing that Tolkien did incredibly well. I mean, among other things, it's Tolkien. But why I love the Silmarillion is it's all explained. It's all there. Everything in the Lord of the Rings, if you want to, and this is another big thing. Now, he does, you know, do his info dumps and all that, for sure, it's there. But again, he condensed it into 3 books. If Tolkien can do Lord of the Rings in 3 books, if you've read the Silmarillion, you can do yours in a couple books. You don't need 10,000 words to do it. I'm looking at you, George Martin. I love George Martin. But you always want to cover your ass. You need to have some reason. You need to have, especially if you're going to have like the Ex Machina, right? You talk about, and I know we're transitioning a little bit here, but it's all about just covering your asses, I guess, is what this is. And we'll look at plot armor, for example, as well. Maybe we'll do a deeper dive onto these if I get some proper notes, but we're just riffing right now. So every character has plot armor, because if they don't, they'll just die, and then they won't be there to get your plot going, right? It's something that needs to be there. Plot armor, when I look at it, is something that this isn't going to work. I'm not going to wait here. This is like 40 cars. What's going on today, boys? We're not going to do this. I don't need the coffee that bad. I'm going to pick up pizza. Everybody's going to have plot armor. But the problem is, oh my God, this is just, sorry, this is a lethal parking lot. Get me out of here. I believe the term plot armor really comes into play is when you write yourself into a corner, you've written your character into a corner, and you have no rational way for them to make it out of that, so they just kind of make it out, right? No one else could have survived that situation, and you've been so lazy with your writing, so negligent, that not only did you write them into the corner, you are unwilling to sacrifice them, or maybe I'm a big believer in not wasting a character's death because it matters. That's a different thing. So you got your plot armor, and everybody gets angry. And I believe people get angry because you didn't do a good enough job as to explain why that character made it out of there. You know, we'll use John Wick as an example again, just because it's very popular. Everybody knows it. It's plot armor the whole time. Keanu Reeves is an immortal. He's got the endurance of 50 David Goggins, and he's got the physical longevity of like 9 super soldiers, and he does get his arm broken and things like that, which is fine. Like they show the damage, but at the end of the day, you know, John Wick's basically going to be able to handle anything. But they give you just enough that the Ex Machina that happens and he gets out of it. They try and do it in like little clever ways, you know what I mean? Like I think there's one scene where he's got to assemble a gun and he gets the last bullet in it, and that's when the guy comes in. It's clever, right? And we buy it, and it's nice because The plot armor's there, the ex machina's there, it's writing. None of it's real. None of it's real. Sometimes life is stranger than fiction, right? But these things happen. You just need to be really clever about it and cover your ass and appreciate that the reader might want a little bit more. If you're just doing like a very surface level, you know, this is it, this is the story, and these are the characters, and this is the good guy and this is the bad guy, and the good guys always win, and you don't go any deeper with it, then yeah, that's fine. You can do that. It's not a big deal. But people are going to ask questions, especially if they begin to get invested in the story. And whatever you're doing, we'll say just book writing in this case, we're hoping that you're going to write the best book ever, and it's going to be amazing, and you're going to have millions of fans, and everybody's going to love it, and they're going to get invested in it. And once people start to get invested, they're going to start to look a little deeper. Now, you can't cover everything because none of it's real, right? It's all made up. That's the beauty of the illusion. It's not real. So even like Breaking Bad and stuff and things like that. We'll use Breaking Bad as an example. Breaking Bad doesn't have that many plot holes. I'm sure there are a few. I'm sure if I YouTube Breaking Bad plot holes or little inconsistencies, they're there. But they tried their damnedest to make it work. And it's not real. It's all fake. We need Walter to get to the end. So again, we're going to get him into these wild situations. We're going to get him out. But we're going to try and get him out in a way that's just clever enough so that you as the reader can accept it. Because you have to, because it's all made up. You need to accept it, right? Or otherwise you can't read or watch anything because it's all made up and it's all convenient. It's all coincidences. It all leads into the next. And if they didn't, it wouldn't be a very good story. It'd be very boring, right? If it was just this random series of events. It reminds me of like some Nicolas Cage video I saw on YouTube. He's acting. I don't know. He's a writer and he's asking like something about a book, and it's the actor that played Agamemnon. Anyway, none of that matters. That's what I've really been concerned with lately, specifically with Gemmell. And the cost of that is it takes a very long time to write. Now, I haven't really put the effort in that needs to be there. I'm not writing multiple hours every day for weeks on end, but I'm trying to whenever I get that time. So I'm doing a little bit of backstory right now just to try and make that all make sense, just enough, you know. You want to have like your one rebuttal.